How you doing? Uh, thanks for being here today. Obviously a great weekend for our program. Really excited to be able to go on the road to Norfolk, Virginia, on the campus of Old Dominion University, and be able to come back home with a big win. Really excited about the way our team competed. And, we were talking as a staff during the day on Saturday, just about how sharp our guys were on Friday. Felt like the walkthroughs Saturday morning, both sides of the ball were as crisp as they had been all year, and just had a good feel about our team and kind of where they were mentally going into the game. And I think that certainly showed by the way they came out and competed. We made it interesting there on the opening kickoff, but able to come back quickly and recover from that. And get points on the first drive, which I thought was important to get off to a fast start. But really excited that we got solid contributions from all three phases on Saturday. Goodness knows that there were plenty of things to correct on Sunday, but the one thing that we're correcting less and less as the season wears on is effort, is playing with some passion, and doing a much better job of playing together. And I thought that those factors. It's hard to quantitate those things, but those factors I think were really critical in surviving that third quarter, because we started with, I'm telling you, we came out of the locker room and we were jacked to start the third quarter. Certainly had a couple of things not bounce our way, and that adversity I think at times in the past might have been crippling to this group. But I think that's something that we've worked very, very hard on throughout the year this year, and I think something that was very evident on Saturday is you didn't see any hanging heads on the sideline. You didn't see any doubt. They kept fighting. They stayed together, and they were able to get the momentum swung back in our direction, and then played a very solid fourth quarter. So great road win. Get us 3-2 on the season, which the players. They were telling me all the stuff in the locker room after the game as we were celebrating about the road win, back-to-back wins, 3-2 on the season. They were giving me all the history stuff of where the when the last time this or that was. But I really just felt like just excited for them, excited about the way we played. Certainly we're improving each week. We're not where we want to be. We're not even close to where we want to be. We're not close to where we're going to be. But we're continuing to see progress, and so I think that's positive. Excited for this Thursday night. Tough matchup against a really good Temple football team. I think that everybody, Temple kind of got everybody's attention back early in the season when they took on a Maryland team averaging over 50 points a game and beat them 20-17. Very impressive showing there. Another big win this past weekend at home against Georgia Tech, 24-2. A solid football team. When you look at their roster, they're older, they're big, they're very experienced. Physical football team, a lot of skill and athleticism at the stand-up positions. It's a program that has consistently won at the highest level of anyone in our league over the history of the American Conference, and one that's been very, very good the past several years. So, big challenge we got this Thursday night, but we're excited about it. It's good to be back at home in Daddy Ficklin Stadium. National TV, so a spotlight on our institution and on our program. Our kids will be excited for that. It's a blackout. I came dressed today appropriately. I feel a little bit like Jerry Glanville sitting up here, so might be a couple of tickets for Elvis at the will call Thursday night. But it's exciting. I think that you'll see our student body kind of rally around this. We need them. We want the boneyard packed Thursday night. We want the boneyard packed. It's a time for all of us to come together and support our football program. So can't wait to kick it off. Short week. You've got a lot to do in a short period of time. So do they.
Coach, first of all, some of the younger folks might not know who Jerry Glanville is, but with the blackout, kind of taking that into consideration, players, when they do you've already got the gold rush and things like that, they get excited about different uniforms and stuff. Do you feel a difference when it's a blackout? It seems like the players really kind of like that.
They probably do. I told marketing about a month ago. I said, I don't care what logo we wear, I don't care what color we wear, just tell me what we're wearing, and we'll wear whatever. Our big concern is the play on the field and the X's and O's and getting our guys ready to play. Do I think that stuff has an impact in recruiting? Do I think it has a little bit of an impact to the players? Certainly. I think all of them enjoy some of those things. I think our fans enjoy that stuff too. We've done different theme games at all the institutions I've been at in the past, so I do think it's something that kind of gets everybody going.
Just quickly on Saturday a little bit, when you went and looked at film, how was Kendall, Cottrell, and Purvis, were they super exceptional? Were they better than you thought in that game? I'm expecting some awards to come out from them this week from the media standpoint of how they were Saturday.
I hope they do. I thought both of them played very well on Saturday. I think they're continuing to improve. I thought Kendall in particular, stat-wise, put up some pretty impressive numbers, but both of them played really, really hard. I thought Kendall really, they had a hard time with him in the pass rush, and that was a factor in the ball game because we were able to do a pretty good job of shutting down the run game on Saturday night, which forced it into a little bit more of a passing attack that we were facing, and that kind of, that's where Kendall really came in and impacted the game there in the second half. I would say so. That's when you think of Temple football, and this is my first time facing them. When you think of them, traditionally that's what you think of. They're very, very much a blue-collar team. That's very much what we want to be. So it'll be a great matchup there.
When you look at the situation against these teams with the AAC, it seems like a lot of this is mental and trying to win these games. What is winning 2 of your last 3 games do to you coming in with a 2-game win streak for your team psyche coming in this week?
Well, I think a couple of things on that. I think certainly having won a couple of games in a row, I think the confidence level's up for the players. There's no doubt about that. When it comes to any of the other stuff you mentioned, it's no different than last week we were talking about winning on the road, and it really doesn't matter where we play. It really doesn't matter who we play. Each week you got to kind of compartmentalize everything. This is the biggest game of the year. This is the only game we play this week. It's a great opportunity for our players to go out there and compete, and a great opportunity for us to have a chance to try to do something pretty special. And so I think those are the things you got to focus on. Certainly I respect our conference, and so does most everybody else. For what they've done nationally over the past several years. So I don't think you can ignore that. But at the same time, Temple is the next opponent. End of discussion. That's really it.
Saturday night and then into Sunday. Did you get a boost? Did you notice anything with the team emotionally? The difference between 3 and 2 and 2 and 3 could be pretty big.
Oh, there's no doubt. There's no. Cliff's. He's fuming back there in the back. Yeah. There's no doubt. I think that, and I even sensed that last week in practice. The kids know the older ones. They've been here. Okay. They knew we were going into the game 2 and 2. To be 3 and 2 going into this game was something significant to them. It's a next step, and it may not be a huge achievement to people outside of our locker room, but to these kids, having that success is important. And so I do think that number one, that was a motivating factor last week, and I think it's something giving them confidence this week.
Coach, you're almost halfway through your first season here. Would you say that the rebuilding effort is all at the ground level? Do you feel like that elevator's going up at this point?
It's getting there. It started.
The foundation laid, you think?
Well, I think you're still working on the foundation, certainly, because you're still, we have not even been here a calendar year. And, I think that there's been a lot in that last 8-9 months, I guess a little bit longer than that now, that we've had to work on and address. There's a lot of work to be done, but I think we're, one of those things, we're not where we were, but we're not where we want to be. So I think we're well into trying to get the foundation built.
Coach, you had little bumps and bruises coming out of the Old Dominion game, young, of course, and I know Kendall Future was kind of limping a little bit. This is the time of the season where you start to get those nagging injuries.
Yep.
How are you as a whole injury-wise?
Well, I think, we played a very physical football game Saturday night. We've got some bumps and bruises, and that's just, it is what it is. Everybody in the country's got that. And I think you've got to do a good job of managing that along with preparing your team. We had worked on and prepared for this week back during the summer as far as, what kind of schedule we're looking at. And certainly with a compressed week, you've got to be smart with how you go out and prepare. So this week's practice schedule will be a little bit different than it has been on a normal game week. But those are things that, you control what you can control. And I think that we'll have a group that takes the field Thursday night that'll be excited to play, and they'll be excited about the opportunity.
Is this your first time in a short turnaround, Saturday to Thursday?
No, we had one. We had one last year at JMU, and then a couple times in the playoffs we had the Saturday to Friday. So we've had a few short weeks over the years.
Do you like the fact that the open date falls right in the midpoint of the season, and with this being a Thursday night, it was kind of get bonus extra time for this open date?
I think ideally you'd want your open date this week and play next Thursday night, so you don't have the compressed week. But aside from that, I do think it's probably a pretty good time because you do have 6 games in when you get to the open date, and you do have a little bit of time before your next game, and so that does allow you to do a lot of things. It should allow you to heal up any bumps and bruises you have and get healthy. It should allow you to take a little bit more closer look at some of the younger players and where they are right now. How can we incorporate them in as you head down the home stretch? And it allows you just to catch your breath a little bit in recruiting. So I do think the open date's a pretty good spot here, after Game 6. But at the end of the day, we're going to play 6 games in a month, basically. So that's tough too.
Coach, from what you've seen from Temple, what impresses you most about the Owls?
I just think that overall they're a very solid football team, and I think that's the most impressive thing. There's not a weakness there. You look at offensively, defensively, and special teams wise, they fit together. Big physical defense, really sturdy against the run. Big physical offense, run the ball very well. Certainly they can throw the ball and defend the pass well as also. Maybe the most dynamic return man in the league with Wright. He was Special Teams Player of the Year, I think, last year in the AAC. So they're just a complete football team that looks like it's veteran, older group. It's what you want to look like.
You mentioned Temple is a physical team, and you guys have to be more physical. Can you talk about how far you progressed from NC State to Old Dominion to having to go into conference play, that level?
Well, I think anybody that's watched us week in and week out, if you step back and you looked at us against NC State and then looked at us the other night, again, we have some mistakes we got to get cleaned up. But I think as far as playing together within the scheme, we're doing that at a much higher level, especially on the defensive side of the football. I think we've made tremendous progress there. Offensively, we're still coming along. I thought we made some great strides the other night also, but I didn't think we played, we didn't play great against NC State, but we also did some good things against NC State, I guess what I'm trying to say there. But I think that the progress has been significant from week 1 to where we are right now.
Coach, in the Old Dominion game, oh no,
I'll defer this time.
good. In the Old Dominion game, Holton had to come out and actually went in the tent to get evaluated. I know Gag warmed up on the sidelines. Had he had to go in, were you confident in him to know enough to be able to lead this team in such a short time of being the backup quarterback?
I think that Brian's greatest attributes are that he's a very intelligent football player, and so I think he could have went in there and performed and ran our offense and operated well. Is he going to be more prepared this week? Yeah, I mean every week we go along he's going to be more prepared because now he's getting the reps that he was not getting before last week. So he's a guy that he does have confidence. And he's an excited guy. I mean, when you see him out there on the practice field, the thing I like the most about him is he has those leadership characteristics that you want in the quarterback position, and he's excited to be out there and excited to go compete each day. So I think you're going to continue to see him be more and more prepared as we move on throughout the year.
Can you expand at all on the day-to-day kind of practice schedule? We have a walkthrough Wednesday, I guess, or practice today or anything?
So we had, we had a little bit shorter practice yesterday, ironically, but we did not spend as much time on our special teams fundamental stuff like we do traditionally each Sunday. Yesterday was all Temple. Today we will practice this afternoon, and we will have a shortened version of a Tuesday/Wednesday practice. Do a little bit of the same thing tomorrow. Wednesday will be a touch more than a walkthrough. We'll call it a jog through or a run through. And we will have, scout teams out there on Wednesday, which we usually don't have on Friday, but we're not going to be out there, for an extended period of time. Because I think that you got, the compressed week, which is what we've dealt with. I've mentioned a couple of those situations we've been in before. The compressed week, you have a couple of things going on. You got to make sure you're the freshest team on Thursday night. That and being prepared are the two most important things. So it's something you got to be very, very cautious with how much you do, but what you do has to be high quality, and that's what we've talked to the players about. This week is about quality over quantity as far as getting our reps together. But Temple's facing the same thing. So, both of us are dealing with a shortened week.
With John, you expect to have him back this week and then never seen a film? Still think it was rough?
I think it's still early in the week. We'll see, how things progress with him. There is no doubt it was roughing the punter. There's no question. Really disappointed that, that wasn't called right there.
What about Jake with leg fatigue or anything, if he's going to do it?
For one game, no. I mean, and he's been preparing for it all year, and it's one of those things. He can do all three. He can kick off, he can punt, he can handle the place kicking duties. We also have Patrick Nations, who can do all three as well, and he's been taking reps all season, so he's prepared to do that. So we feel like we'll be okay in that situation right there.
Was Brian mostly scout team, or was he getting reps along the way too?
Brian's been with the travel team the whole season, but as the 3, he has not got a ton of reps. So last week as the 2, he was getting, a lot of reps there during the team portions of practice. Anything else? Okay, thanks a lot.